For as long as I can remember, I've had this strange ability. It's not something I can control, and it's definitely not something I can explain. It's just this knowing. I know things I shouldn't know, things I have no way of knowing. It started becoming really clear a few months after I started dating my now husband. One night, I had this incredibly vivid dream. I was standing in a dimly lit hallway, and at the other end was an elderly woman. I'd never seen her before in my life, yet she was smiling at me with this warm, familiar look, as if we'd known each other forever. Her smile was so gentle, so welcoming. When I woke up, a name was just there, echoing in my mind, Evelyn. Along with the name came this incredibly detailed image of her house, a tiny cottage. I could see the front door, painted a soft, weathered green. I could feel the old wooden floors under my feet, slightly uneven and worn smooth by time. And I remember one detail so clearly, a delicate lace curtain in one of the windows, fluttering gently even though the window was shut tight. It was such a specific and random dream, but it felt so real. Later that day, I was talking to my boyfriend, and I casually mentioned the dream. I described the woman, the hallway, the cottage, the green door, the wooden floors, and that fluttering lace curtain. As I was talking, I saw his face change. He just froze. His eyes went wide, and all the color drained from his face. He was completely silent for a moment, just staring at me. I asked him what was wrong, and he finally managed to speak. He told me that I had just described his grandmother perfectly. Her name was Evelyn. She lived in a little cottage, and he said I described her favorite room down to the last detail, even the furniture. He was shocked because I didn't even know his grandmother had passed away several years before we met. He had never told me her name, never shown me a picture of her, and he certainly had never mentioned anything about her cottage. That was the moment. That was the first time he realized there was something different about me, something he couldn't quite wrap his head around. It was unsettling for both of us, but we tried to just brush it off as a really weird coincidence. But then, a few months later, it happened again. This time, though, it wasn't in a dream. I was wide awake. It was just a normal afternoon. I was in our apartment, just going about my day, when suddenly I was hit by this incredibly strong, sharp smell. It was the smell of old antiseptic, like the kind you'd imagine in a hospital from decades ago. It was so specific and so completely out of place. There was nothing in our apartment that could have made that smell. It was so powerful that it made me stop dead in my tracks. I turned to my husband and said, I don't know why, but I feel like something's wrong. It's a bad feeling. Like someone nearby is about to end up in the hospital. The feeling was just this heavy weight, this sense of dread that I couldn't shake. He looked at me, a little concerned, but we didn't know what to make of it. We couldn't just call everyone we knew and ask if they were okay based on a phantom smell, so we tried to ignore it. The smell eventually faded, but the feeling lingered for the rest of the day. The very next day, we got a call. His father had been rushed to the hospital. It was sudden, unexpected, and serious. Thankfully, he made a full recovery, but the timing was just impossible. The smell, the feeling, and then the call less than 24 hours later. It was too much to be another coincidence. This time, we couldn't just brush it off. It was real. It was terrifying, and it didn't stop there. Over the next year or so, the same thing happened 2 more times. Each time, it started with that same distinct old hospital antiseptic smell appearing out of nowhere. And each time, within a day, there would be a medical emergency in his family, a sudden illness, an accident, something that required a hospital visit. The pattern was undeniable. That specific scent became a warning sign, a prelude to bad news. I can't explain any of it. I've tried. I don't see ghosts. I don't hear voices. I don't talk to spirits or anything like that. There's no big cinematic moment where the world stops and I get a vision. It's much quieter, much more subtle. It's a dream of a woman I've never met. It's a scent that shouldn't be there. It's just this sudden, unshakable knowledge of things before they happen or before anyone tells me. To this day, these moments are the most unsettling things I have ever experienced. It's not a gift. It's not cool. It's unnerving to have this connection to events you can't control or even fully understand. Even now, after all this time, thinking about it still makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's a part of my life that I've learned to live with, but I don't think I'll ever get used to it. It is a constant reminder that there are things in this world that we just can't explain. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever experienced anything strange or unexplainable, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing for more stories. See you next time.